A dramatic late-race incident involving George Russell and Max Verstappen resulted in pandemonium that saw the FIA getting involved. The Mercedes star had been in command from lights out, starting on pole and leading the pack around the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Verstappen, meanwhile, maintained second place for the majority of the race, biding his time. But things took a turn in the final laps after a late safety car was deployed, courtesy of an unfortunate tangle between the two McLarens. The field bunched up, and suddenly it was game on once again. As the race cruised to a close under safety car conditions, a moment of controversy emerged on the main straight. Verstappen briefly edged ahead after Russell abruptly hit the brakes. That flash of movement sparked immediate outrage from the Red Bull camp, with Verstappen taking to the radio to voice his frustration. He complained that George suddenly just aggressively braked, complained Verstappen. Before Verstappen could make matters worse with a penalty-worthy reaction, his race engineer, Giampiero Lambiase, quickly stepped in with a response. "Understood, thank you. We will check for any erratic driving. We can see that on our data stream as well, Max. Thank you for the info." Over at Mercedes, Russell had his own interpretation of events, making his case over team radio. Some speculated the move was a tactical effort to bait Verstappen into a penalty, perhaps even to push him closer to a race ban. Russell said, "Verstappen just overtook me under the safety car. I don't know what Verstappen was doing when I was behind the safety car." Wasting no time, his race engineer Giampiero Lambiase quickly stepped in with a response, urging Verstappen to keep a sharp eye on Russell's next moves. He said, "That incident with Russell now being shown on the feeds, Max, it's pretty blatant. Just don't fall for the gamesmanship, okay? Thank you." Red Bull team principal Christian Horner is convinced that Russell intentionally braked hard while behind the safety car in order to provoke his driver. Speaking to the media, he said, "Two protests that we've put to the stewards that we've asked them to have a look at. Firstly, relating to the erratic driving behind the safety car, where George very heavily braked, obviously looking in his mirror for Max. Then, the second one is very clearly the distance that was left behind the safety car that was well in excess, I think at least 3 times in excess, of the permitted distance. It's within our right to obviously protest that, so we've lodged the protest. It's with the stewards now, and we'll see what they say." Christian Horner later revealed that pre-race discussions had taken place with the FIA, sparked by comments George Russell made on Thursday. The Mercedes driver had openly admitted his intention to exploit Verstappen's precarious penalty point situation to the fullest. "I think you could hear from George's press comments yesterday. His objective was reasonably clear," he continued. "I don't think there was any surprises with that. I think that it's inevitable that there was going to be some potential gamesmanship. It's something that we raised after the driver's briefing with the race director, just so that they were mindful of it as well, because it's clear that kind of stuff goes on. But Max, I thought he's been squeaky clean all weekend and drove a very good race today. We just said to him, the race director, could they please keep an eye on it, because there's been obviously comments that have been raised in the media, just please keep an eye on it." Shortly after the race, Red Bull did indeed lodge a complaint accusing Russell of allegedly driving erratically under the safety car and displaying unsportsmanlike behavior by complaining that Car 1 had overtaken under safety car conditions. But their protest against George Russell's win at the Canadian Grand Prix has officially been thrown out. While the FIA didn't reference any specific moment on track, the focus was clearly on Russell's conduct behind the safety car, an issue that sparked on-air complaints from Max Verstappen. Both drivers, along with representatives from Red Bull and Mercedes, were called in for a hearing with the stewards. But after reviewing the case, the officials ruled in Russell's favor and dismissed the protest. In a formal document released after the decision, the stewards detailed Red Bull's claim that during a safety car deployment, the driver of car 63 had braked unnecessarily along the back, straight between turns 12 and 13, as a result of which car 1, which was following car 63, overtook car 63 and then dropped back behind car 63 after car 63 accelerated. By complaining over team radio that car 1 had overtaken him under safety car, the driver of car 63 had displayed unsportsmanlike intent. George Russell came back with his own statement of defense, as Mercedes explained. Periodic braking is commonplace and to be expected during safety car deployments to ensure that temperature is maintained in tyres and brakes. Russell braked where he did for two reasons. First, to ensure he kept a gap to the safety car. Secondly, to keep temperature in his brakes and tyres. What the driver of car 63 had said over team radio was nothing other than factual. Mercedes also tendered telemetry showing brake patterns of both car 63 and car 1 on several laps under safety car, which they said showed that the driver of car 1 had been braking on the same straight on other laps under the safety car, which they said showed that what the driver of car 63 did was unremarkable. FIA Sporting Director Tim Malyon, representing the governing body during the hearing, clarified that race control had been closely monitoring the incident as it unfolded. The FIA's statement reads, Mr. Malyon explained that the incident had been observed by the race control team and assessed to not warrant being reported to the stewards. He said that periodic braking under safety car is typical and to be expected. He said that for this reason, race control always allows a degree of tolerance with respect to the 10-car length rule, recognizing that there is a need for a reasonable degree of braking and acceleration. Having regard to the evidence of Mr. Malyon, we accept the driver of car 63's explanation of the incident, and we are satisfied that the driver of car 63 did not drive erratically by braking where he did or to the extent he did. We are not satisfied that by simply reporting to his team that car 1 had overtaken that he engaged in unsportsmanlike conduct. Even though the protest did not allege it, we are also satisfied that by braking where and when he did, and to the extent he did, the driver of car 63 did not engage in unsportsmanlike conduct. While Gianpiero Lambiase hinted that Russell may have been trying to bait Verstappen into a misstep, the Red Bull star later downplayed the drama, suggesting instead that his rival was simply venting frustration over the sluggish pace of the safety car. I think we were both trying to say to the safety car to speed up because he was only going 120 kilometers per hour, Verstappen told Sky. But I think then maybe the safety car was doing that to give a bit more time to maybe get a race lap in. So I think George was trying to speed up to the safety car. I was trying to do the same, and once he tried to speed up the safety car, he then backed out and caused a bit of confusion. With a controversy now behind them, this weekend will be remembered as Mercedes' strongest showing of the season, thanks to a stellar performance by George Russell, who turned his pole position into a hard-fought victory ahead of Max Verstappen and young sensation Kimi Antonelli in a chaotic Canadian Grand Prix. It's no secret that the Brackley-based squad has had trouble keeping pace with the front-runners this year, but the cool weather and smooth Montreal track conditions played right into their hands. Russell capitalized fully, claiming both his first pole and race win of the season. He said, "It's amazing to be back on the top step. Obviously, the last time for us was back in Vegas. I thought last year for us was a victory lost, and then obviously we got the victory today, probably due to the incredible pole lap yesterday. So happy to see Kimi on the podium as well, so it's an amazing day for the team. Thanks to everybody back at the factory who's been working so hard to get us back fighting for victories. It feels good." In your opinion, did the FIA make the right decision by deeming this incident unworthy of a penalty on George Russell's part, or are they being unfair to Max Verstappen? Let's argue about it in the comments below, and if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest in F1. Thanks for watching.